All right. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of Kincardine at 5 o'clock on March 25th, 2026 in the Council Chambers at the Municipal Administration Centre. Roll call this evening, Deputy Mayor Clark.
Present.
Councillor Blackwell.
Present.
Councillor Kavanaugh.
Present.
Councillor Hinchberger.
Present.
Councillor Pranger. Councillor Steinhoff-Gray. Councillor Stewart.
Present.
Councillor Williams.
Present.
I'd like to begin this evening by acknowledging that we are meeting on the traditional lands and treaty territory of the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, which includes the Chippewas of Nawash Unceded First Nation and the Chippewas of Saugeen First Nation, whose ancestors were the first to inhabit, care for, and live on this land. And as a public service organization, we are dedicated to learning and acknowledging Indigenous history and culture, and we are committed to actions that move us towards a journey of truth, healing, and reconciliation with the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, the Métis Nation of Ontario, and the historic Saugeen Métis. Are there any council amendments, additions, or deletions to or from the agenda this evening? And I'd like to remind you to disclose any pecuniary interests in the general nature thereof, either now or as it arises during the meeting. Adoption of minutes from the regular meetings. Need a mover and seconder that the minutes of the council meeting held March 11, 2026 be adopted as printed. Moved by councillors Hinchberger and Williams. All in favor? That's carried. Moving on to staff reports. An aerial fire truck borrowing bylaw. We need a mover and seconder that the staff report Financial Services 2026-03 entitled Aerial Fire Truck Borrowing Bylaw be received. That authorization be given to obtain a $1,320,000 debenture from Ontario Infrastructure and Lands Corporation for the long-term financing with repayment terms of 10 years to finance the aerial fire truck. That authorization be given to the treasurer to sign any necessary and related documents, and further that council approves the attached borrowing bylaw. Moved by councillors Blackwell and Deputy Mayor Clark. Discussion. Shane, any comment before we begin, or just respond to questions? Roxana?
Yes, thank you.
What do you have to do with borrowing $1.3 million? Seriously.
So staff are requesting approval to secure the debenture for $1.32 million from Infrastructure Ontario over a 10-year period. The treasurer would be authorized to sign all required documents, and council would enact the borrowing bylaw needed for the application. The total project cost is $2.18 million, and by choosing to prepay, the municipality receives a $225,000 discount, which reduces the net cost to $2.09 million, and overall generates savings of about $257,000. We will temporarily use available cash on hand until we receive the funds from Infrastructure Ontario. And the funding sources for this truck are $510,000 from reserve funds, $350,000 from development charges, and $1.32 million from debt. It is expected that annual payments would be about $160,000, and the budget was $188,000, so we are under budget. And because we are prepaying, we are going to secure a performance bond for the full value of the truck, which will protect the municipality if the vendor fails to deliver. The surety company will guarantee completion and delivery of the truck or full repayment so that our prepaid funds are fully protected. And the cost of the performance bond is $8,000 and is included in the overall cost.
Council questions? Councillor Stewart, please.
I'd just like to say to Roxana, that's an excellent report. You covered everything, so thank you very much. Really good details and everything, so job well done. Thank you.
All in favor? And that's carried. Special events road closure update. We need a mover and seconder of the council approve an update to the special event policy, section 5.1 pertaining to road closures, and that council approves a budget amendment for the additional expenditure of $6,800 to purchase additional road closure signage and barricades funded from the contingency reserve. Moved by councillors Kavanaugh and Blackwell. Anne Marie, any comment or questions?
Through you, Mayor. I just want to share with council that each year our municipality receives between 60 and 70 special event applications. 14 to 16 of those involve road closures, and most of those are for multiple event dates. So it results in about 36 road closure special events that take place in our municipality annually. These event applications are reviewed by a special event committee. It's comprised of members from a variety of different municipal departments, including community services, fire and emergency management, operations, which includes our road authority, and corporate services. At our committee meeting last month, concerns were raised and we started to have a discussion about the safety of volunteers who attend these road closure barricades. We heard feedback about concerns about motorists not always following or adhering to these barricades and some of the potential risk that exposes these volunteers to. It prompted a review of policy expectations, particularly the requirement that's stated in the existing policy that all barricades must be attended to for the entire duration of the road closure. This review found that the current wording exceeds what is needed in terms of practice. Essentially, it's sort of an one-size-fits-all blanket approach. And we know that not all barricades require attending at all times. So updating this policy will allow staff to work with our event organizers on the specifics in terms of which barricades will require monitoring based on the size and nature of an event, the traffic movement and visibility that takes place, proximity to emergency routes, residences, businesses, and basically perform an overall risk assessment. Each event would end up with a traffic management and road closure plan that is proportional to the scale and risk of that event. To support this, we also need additional signage and barricades to fully meet the Book 7 standards. Our road authority, our operations supervisor, basically took a sample event application and did an intersection layout to determine what would be needed to improve safety and compliance, and then put a quote together. So this evening, what we're asking for is support for the policy amendment language update and a budget amendment of $6,800 to purchase the necessary road signage and barricades to meet the Book 7 guidelines.
Thank you for that. Any questions? Councillor Kavanaugh, please.
Thank you very much. I've spoken to a couple individuals that you've sort of passed this through in the community that run special events, and all the feedback I've received has been incredibly positive. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All in favor? And that's carried. Environmental Services Compliance Report. We need a mover and seconder that council endorses the Drinking Water Quality Management System Management Review and Action Plan 2026. Moved by councillors Hinchberger and Kavanaugh. Discussion? Councillor Hinchberger, please.
Through you, Chair, I'm going to ask a little latitude because although the resolution is specific to the Drinking Water Quality Management System review, the agenda item also includes the Environmental Compliance Report for February, and I'd like to ask a question about it. Okay. I'm going to pick up the mantle for Councillor Steinhoff-Gray because she's not here tonight, and somebody has to ask some environmental questions. These, by the way, I submitted earlier and were answered by the manager of environmental services. One I'd like to focus on is the overflow of raw sewage at the Maple Street pumping station in Tiverton earlier this month. 411 cubic meters of sewage sounds like a lot. In the answer that you provided, I didn't ask this part of the question, but it says samples were taken and shipped to SGS Labs for testing. Do we have those results back, which would basically confirm what we suspect, that we have a small amount of sewage diluted with a huge amount of stormwater and meltwater? First question.
Good evening, through you, Mayor Craig. We do have those sample results back, Councillor Hinchberger. I can share with you that, to your point, that the samples were fairly minute, with the exception of the E. coli limit, which was really high. I can share that with you because the substantial weather event made staff actually have to collect the sample out of the sewage wet well, which may have spiked those results because the creek was so high, it was unsafe to actually get to the overflow pipe and collect what I guess we would consider a more representative sample.
Yeah, we don't have a representative sample of what was in the environment, actually. You mentioned in your answer in here that there's a future design change plan for the Maple Street pumping station, which will install higher capacity pumps, which will prevent this from occurring. I just looked at the 2026 capital budget, and it doesn't look like that's a this year project. It's future year, 5-year capital plan. Would that be correct?
Through you, Mayor Craig. So it has been included in multiple budgets, but is one of the ones that we tend to bump out based on development in the area. So we've been kind of monitoring a couple of the situations in Tiverton with development around both Maple Street and up towards the Concord subdivision. And that would be the really big driver to probably make those upgrades at the Maple Street station.
Thank you. And the last part, which would relate to probability of that change successfully addressing the problem, I'd like to just refer to the upgrades that were made at the Durham Street pumping station in Kincardine, where much higher capacity pumps were installed. And I'm crossing my fingers here in that since we've made those changes, for instance, in the significant melt events that have occurred earlier this year, that we've gotten through without having a sewage bypass event there. Would that be a good news story?
That's correct.
That would be great. All right, thank you.
All in favor of the motion? That's carried. Housing Ad Hoc Committee Terms of Reference. We need a mover and seconder that council approve the Ad Hoc Housing Committee Terms of Reference as drafted. Moved by Beth and Mike. Discussion? Manager, would you like to make any comment or? Okay. Okay.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Craig. So you received the progress report at the last meeting, and following council's directive, the Mayor Craig issued the directive to establish the Ad Hoc Housing Committee, and attachment 1 has the draft terms of reference, which outlines the committee's roles and responsibilities. And so we're asking that council, for your consideration, approve the draft terms of reference, and so we can start revising and refreshing our action plan 2.0 for housing.
Councillor Stewart, please.
Sorry, and through you, Chair. One of the things I would like to suggest, I like what I see, but under Gold 1, I wouldn't mind having a quick report back to council, because that's when the committee's starting to look at the complete, basically from homeless all the way up to finished housing, $1 million detached homes in the continuum. Like to know exactly what they're going to focus on, so we are not sort of focused on too many things, maybe the top 3. So I wouldn't mind having a little bit of come back to council after they finish the first goal and just tell us what they sort of found out. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stewart. And with some preliminary conversations with the members identified on the committee, it has been acknowledged that the county has already done some good work identifying the gaps in not only our housing market, but across the county, and we're no different from the rest of the county, really, in that regard. So I think, in many regards, the focus of the committee, though the terms of reference could be interpreted as very broad, I think we're going to have to do a couple of things. First off, review and recommend concurrently, so it's not just wait till the whole report's done and then present recommendations that we don't have time to act on. So we're likely going to see the first meeting, there will be, in my through my rose-colored glasses, we're going to review and make what low hanging fruit can we pick off like right now. And I hope that the committee is able to bring some expeditious and valuable recommendations immediately and then on an ongoing basis. But to keep the work of the committee narrow is important to be effective at this point in time.
Thank you. That's exactly what I like to hear.
Just for clarity, the members that have been named for the committee are Councillors Blackwell, Councillor Hinchberger, Councillor Steinhoff, Gray, and myself. Councillor Prenger, excuse me, Councillor Prenger. Thank you for that. All in favor of the motion? And that's carried. There were no notice of motions either prior to the meeting. Are there any notices of motion at this point? Right, seeing none. Committee appointment amendment 13 bylaw. We need a mover and seconder that the committee appointment amendment bylaw be deemed to be read a first, second, third time, finally passed and numbered as bylaw 2026-031, moved by Councillors Williams and Kavanagh. Discussion. Councillor Blackwell.
Sorry, thank you. I'm just looking at the amending bylaw for municipal boards, and it has the county or council appointee for the BIA as Mike Hinchberger.
No, it's taking.
It's taking that off. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, no worries. Sorry.
Yep, these are all just removals. All in favor? That's carried. Appoint a fire prevention officer, Scott Thompson bylaw. We need a mover and seconder that the appoint fire prevention officer bylaw be deemed to be read a first, second, third time. Finally passed and numbered as bylaw 2026-32, moved by Councillor Kavanagh and Blackwell. All in favor? And that's carried. And a motion to pass bylaws. We need a mover and seconder that the following bylaws are hereby read a first, second, third time, finally passed today. Aerial truck borrowing bylaw 2026-33, special event policy amendment bylaw 2026-34, housing ad hoc committee terms of reference bylaw 2026-35, moved by Councillor Blackwell and Kavanagh. All in favor? Hope carried. I did see you there, Councillor Stewart, just late.
I was just going to second it, no problem.
All right, we move on to the consent agenda, and once again, these are considered routine and acted in one motion, unless the councillor would like to withdraw one for discussion either now or in a subsequent meeting. Any councillors have comments? Councillor Blackwell, please.
Thank you through you. It's almost the end of my term. I'm still working on the Alpha Bravo stuff, but 7.1 Delta, which is the Elect Her Now online campaign school. I know there's going to be at least one fantastic speaker with Deputy Mayor Clark speaking there, but that's a program that I went through when I was considering a run for council, and so it begins every Tuesday night, I believe, in April. If anybody is curious about potentially sitting around the horseshoe next term, I really would encourage them to pay attention, to take that program. It's pay what you can, and I think it's a really great introduction to the world of municipal politics.
Anything else? Okay, we need a mover and seconder that council approve the recommendations contained in the consent agenda dated March 25th, 2026, and direct staff to proceed with all necessary administrative actions. Deputy Mayor Clark and Councillor Hinchberger, all in favor? That's carried. Member of Council, general announcements. Deputy Mayor.
None.
Anticipation, I just knew you had something. Councillor Kavanagh.
Thank you. No announcements this evening.
Councillor Williams.
No announcements.
Councillor Stewart.
I'll pass, thank you.
Councillor Hinchberger.
Same, no announcements.
Councillor Blackwell. 12.
I have no announcements tonight. I know.
Okay, well, I do. So you'll note in front of Councillor Kavanagh this evening is his, the municipal entry into Kincardine Cubs Cubby Car Race Monday evening. And it was with great pride that I announced that Rory's daughters did such a good job that it won first prize in the corporate sponsor category. And I actually it won by a half a car length over the best car there. So well done, Councillor Kavanagh. And Easter's coming up. It's a great time for family and friends to get together and celebrate everything that's important to them. So easy on the sugar and overdose on the friendship stuff. Okay. CAO, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to just have an announcement to the public this evening. Now that the weather is a little bit nicer, we've started to get some calls here in the office about dogs being off leash and that causing some concern. So we just ask the public that when you're out enjoying our parks and trails and beaches and public spaces, please remember to keep your dog on a leash at all times when you're on municipal property. It helps protect wildlife, it keeps the pets safe and healthy, and supports people who might be not as comfortable with dogs as others are. And we really want to encourage and thank everyone who are responsible pet owners for helping to make our community welcoming for everyone. And I would note, if people weren't aware, that we do have an off-leash dog park at 430 Bruce Avenue beside the Legion Park, Ball Diamond, and soccer fields. And that is a place, if your dog would like a run off of his leash, that's a place that you can take them. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, I need a mover and seconder now that council move into closed session pursuant to Section 239 of the Municipal Act as amended for the purposes of considering, 1, the closed session minutes dated March 11, 2, oh, my gracious, information explicitly supplied in confidence to the municipality of a local board by Canada, a province or territory or crown agency of any of them, and a trade secret or scientific, technical, commercial, financial, or labor relations information supplied in confidence to the municipality or local board, which, if disclosed, could reasonably be expected to prejudice significantly the competitive position or interfere significantly with the contractual or other negotiations of a person, group of persons, or organizations, and a position plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board. Specifically, capacity funding agreement for regional infrastructure and community readiness assessment, Bruce C. project. Further, the council return to regular open meeting upon completion. Moved by councillors Blackwell and Deputy Mayor Clark. All in favor? That's carried.